This is a lot of swords. Some of you may have seen that this past weekend I flew out to Connecticut to bring home a large collection of Japanese swords. There were about 20 swords total that I brought home, and I received a lot of inquiries from collectors and enthusiasts about the swords that were in Gunto koshirae, Gunto mounting. So Gunto means war sword, gun meaning war, to meaning sword. And these are swords that, from the group that I have here on the table, are made during the World War II period. For the most part, they're traditionally made swords, and they come from some of the top schools. I'll go through a few of these now, but they are really nice examples of the range of different types of Japanese sword mountings that you'll see made during the war. So I'm going to go on my left to right to show some of these pieces. During the era preceding World War II and then up through World War II, one of the seats of production in Japan was Yasukuni Shrine. And the swords were made in the shrine from the mid-30s through to the end of World War II. And the swords that were being produced at Yasukuni Jinja were some of the best that were being produced during the war era. You have smiths like Kotani Yasunori, Kajiyama Yasunori, Ikeda Yasumitsu, Yasuhiro, who were producing really beautiful pieces. A lot of them were produced in a broad sukuha hamon, very tight koi tamehara, but these smiths were capable of doing a range of different works. And you see that for the pieces that they produced outside of the forge, the same smiths, how versatile they were. So you'll see pieces by Kajiyama Yasunori and Kotani Yasunori that are made in all of the gokaren, all of the traditions, and it shows how skillful these individuals were. So this sword, and this is a mounting, and I'll show the blade next, is a sword by Murakami Yasunobu. Yasunobu was one of the later generation of swordsmiths that was working at Yasukuni Forge. He was a student of Ikeda Yasumitsu, and he was said to have produced about 1,000 swords at the forge. This is a Gunto mounting. It's an army mounting in really beautiful condition with tassel. Everything is very well preserved. And the blade is a very typical Yasukunito blade. So you have an overall shape that tends to be very graceful. It's a tachi shape. It has a sukuha hamon and a very tight koi tamehara. And I'll combine this with some detail videos so the actual workmanship can be seen. But the blade itself is a very typical example of what you see from swords that were produced at the shrine. As many of these swords were from the Yasukuni Jinja smiths, it is signed Tachi Mei, so signed as a Tachi, in this case Yasunobu, and on the reverse the sword is dated and it has a date of Showa 17, which is 1942. I just want to have one more opportunity to see the overall shape, the sugata, and then I'm going to continue moving down the group. Okay, the next sword is intermittently called a type 3 or a type 0 koshirae. This is a different type of Gunto koshirae. Mountings are simplified compared to what we typically see for type 94 and type 98 Shingonto mountings. The blade has a lacquered tsukamaki. It has 2 retention clasps. The saya is simpler. It's usually in a textured lacquer like this, with a range of color from black to dark brown to a light brown color. And I have 2 mountings here that are of this same type. So this mounting and this are for a Gasan Sadashige, a Kono Sadashige, and then this is for a Mizuno Masundore. And the blade that I have here in Shirasaya is the Kono Sadashige. Sadashige was a student of Gasan Sadakatsu, one of the luminaries of that time period. And this blade is very long, 28 inches, with a very wild choji gunome hamon with a lot of activity. Kintsugi, tsunadashi flowing throughout the blade. Really a lot of work has gone into this. It's a very robust blade, has a widening haba of 34 millimeters, and a really outstanding shape overall. And the work is very similar to Sadakatsu, and the way that the nakago is finished, yasurime, is also in that typical Gasan Sadakatsu style. So I'm not going to show everything here. I'm going to do a few different videos. But again, this is the Sadashige. We have a Suitsugu Shigemitsu. I'll take that out quickly. He was another of the very top Gendai smiths, worked in Fukuoka during the war, and this is a blade that's done in the Bizenden, so it has a hamon that is generally choji based, with a lot of deepashi, also a lot of activity. These blades are all in shirasaya, in addition to having the mountings. So when a sword is polished and restored in Japan, it is typically placed into a shirasaya so that the polish in the blade is protected. And then for the mounting is typically preserved with a wooden blade or tsunagi. So all of these mountings that don't have blades in them have tsunagi, and then the blades themselves are preserved inside of a shirasaya. So again, I'm not going to take everything out, but just to go quickly through some of the others that I have here. I have two blades that are mantatsuto, so those are blades that were made during the war in Manchuria, and they used a different kind of steel that was more likely to stay intact in the very cold winters in Manchuria. And this is the last I'm going to take out today, is a Type 94 mounting with two hangers. So you can see that the way that the mounting is differentiated from these type of Gunto mountings, you have two hangers on the saya, and one of these is removable, so there's a small hinge at the bottom. It can be unscrewed and taken off. And this is also an unusual type of overall treatment. The saya is done in stingray, samegawa, so stingray that's been polished and lacquered, and it has a prototype koshirae at the end as well. So very rare type of Gunto mounting to see. So I will update with additional videos showing detail of these blades, and I will go through the whole collection and do videos to share everything that I brought home. Well, thank you so much, and please keep checking back for more videos in the future. Thank you.